Let's get a start on our form. I want you to go into your site files here, File tab, come down into Pages and open up this first one, Form A. Just double click. And there you go. Now I've done a few things to save us some time. I've decided that in order to control the form as it's viewed on the client side, I want to put these into divs. If you're a little bit weak on divs, you might want to go back to the chapter where we talk about div statements, because that's what all of this is. These are all controlled by these particular rules over here in terms of the font and the colors and the backgrounds and everything else, and we've been through this before in other chapters. But to save us some time, it would take us several minutes just to put this together. I've got an area to put my form. Understand something. You could take a blank HTML document and slap the form right on that thing. You don't have to do this, but I think it makes it better, of course, for what we're trying to accomplish, and that is presentation and content are all controlled. Now we need to make a form, and all of the things we need to make a form are on the Forms tab right up here. So let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit in this area, show you a couple of things up here. This is the first button that you will click, because that's the button that generates the form that the fields go in. Once you've got that, you can click here and add things like a text field. You can do what's called a hidden field. You've got things like text areas. There's your checkbox with check groups and your radio buttons with a radio group. You've got things like lists, select from a list, jump menus. You have a button here to allow you to create an image field if you want to put images in your form. You have another button for a file field. Here is the button that you click to make a send. The two over here are for creating labels. You have another one for a field set, and you have some spry elements in here. Now, we've got a whole chapter on spry, so we're going to skip those in this particular chapter. But all of these buttons, that's all you really need to make a form. So let's get back down to normal size. We put our form anywhere you want. I'm putting my form inside of this div. So first thing, let's get rid of these words. I mean, I typed them there. It didn't say that originally. Make sure that you are inside right here, and then simply click this button. There it is, or the start of our form. Now, if you select it, I want to show you a couple of options down here because our Properties panel now is reflecting our form. Number one, you have a form ID right here. That is important because the script needs the name of the form in order to transfer the information. So Form 1's all right. Doesn't matter what the name is, but give it a good descriptive name. See the word action? That's where the CGI script goes. So you call the IT people, the geeks that do the code, right? And you tell them the fields, the names of the fields, and what you want to do with the information, and they basically will create this program. That's where it goes, right in here. You've got a method for post, get, default is post. We want to send this information, not get it, so we will leave that at post. You have a target button on where it's going to go. I usually do self. This button right here allows me to change the CSS style that I have for that box, and form interior is the one I use, so we're going to leave that alone. In code type, right here, you have two. What this does is describes the enclosure type being sent to the server. Okay, and the default is application form URL encoded, and the only time you'd really use the other one for multi-part form data is if you are probably asking visitors to upload files. So we'll go ahead and select this one. That's the default anyway. So we've got a form. We haven't got anything in it yet. We have it set up, and we're ready to go. So in the next segment, we're going to start populating this form with information, text, and fields.